Hello, everybody. It is Misha Green, DC editor. I am really excited to be speaking with Autumn Hester, but excited feels like an unfair word because I am so disappointed and concerned about the conditions that Autumn and her colleagues at Howard University are dealing with right now as they are we on like day 28 of
Day 28.
the 4 weeks of the Blackburn Takeover. And Autumn, in your words, can you just share with the people what the Blackburn Takeover is? We've covered it a lot on the AFRO. Probably a lot of the people tuning in already have seen our different coverage of it, and you guys on campus in particular making your voices heard. But in your words, explain what is happening with the Blackburn Takeover.
So, Blackburn Takeover happened because students came as a collective and decided that they were sick and tired of being sick and tired of Howard University.
Literally.
Literally. Students have been facing mold and fungus and mushrooms and asbestos and mice and roaches and rats and all that in their dorms and in their residential buildings and everything. And it is just completely unacceptable. And it has come to a point where people can no longer handle it anymore. And so now we are forcing and demanding the university to take accountability and to take action and to stop always reacting when the public gets a hold of this information and to start being proactive to the things that they're putting their students towards.
Now, for those tuning in and need an update on who Autumn is, she is a freshman, and I'm sorry, did not ask your pronouns. Is it fair that I'm saying she, her, Autumn?
Correct.
Okay. um, but yeah, she is a freshman psychology major from the great state of Georgia, represented Atlanta, and she already has some serious issues in her freshman year. You've not even been there a full semester. Share your concerns in particular, and then you have shared some of the larger concerns, but then we'll go back to that in a second. But what are you grappling with in your first like 2.5 months on campus?
So the very first week that I got onto campus, there was a campus wide AC outage. So it was the hottest time of the year, and in my dorm, it was 92 degrees. And it took the university about 2 weeks to finally fix it. Some people's ACs still weren't working. And then after that, we moved into people noticing mold in their rooms. Specifically, me, I had mold in my vents, but other people had it worse where they were coughing up blood and going and getting hospitalized, or their items were completely damaged by the mold. For me personally, I just had mold in my AC and it was causing my roommate and I to get sick. And we kept getting tested over and over for COVID because we had the same symptoms, but it kept coming back negative until we finally checked the AC and I saw what was growing on there. So whenever we put in a maintenance request for the company Corvius, which is who manages and cleans and operates the residential facilities, they would choose when they wanted to come and when they wanted to let us suffer. And a lot of times they just let us suffer. They didn't clean it, and they also have a history of doing these types of things for different institutions that they manage. They have a history of having mold in their facilities, rats, mice, everything. So it's not a new thing, but Howard hired them anyways, which shows their appreciation of their students. They don't care about their students, they care about their money. But a lot of students, like I said, do have it worse. I'm fortunate enough to be back in my room right now. I'm waiting for the mold to grow back because they wiped it down again. That will be the third time they've wiped it down. So it's going to grow back. But for now, I'm safe in my room for a second.
Oh my goodness. I'm just so sorry to hear your experience and the experience of your colleagues. I remember when I attended the press conference a couple of weeks ago, there was a student who said, we literally cannot breathe, and obviously to not take away from the very important movements of the Black Lives Matter movement, where that was sort of the catalyst of the movement, was hearing people say I can't breathe, right? Whether it was Eric Garner and most recently George Floyd. Um, but it's so disappointing to hear that at what is considered the mecca of historically Black colleges and universities, these students who have dreamed of attending this school are also having challenges breathing, cannot breathe, or being tested for COVID in you and your roommate's situation regularly, and learning that no, we're not sick because of this global pandemic, but because of mold that has been present in our dorms, and that it seems like the university may have known a little bit about, and not necessarily rectified. So here we are, 28 days into the protests. People are still sleeping outside. People are still making their voices heard. I recently saw that President Frederick came out with a statement saying that only 1% of the dorms on campus were actually affected by what you all are demanding needs to be addressed. And obviously, just from what I've done in terms of reporting, it seems like uh, that is a gross underestimate of what is happening. Um, we know about the mold, we know about the fungi, we know about the rats and roaches. But tell us about Wi-Fi and how that is also disparate on campus and a major issue, and I think a problem in terms of living conditions, particularly on a college campus.
Mm-hmm. So for me personally, 3 out of 4 of my classes are virtual, and my fourth class is a hybrid, so it meets virtual and in person half of the time. But it's hard to attend these classes where attendance is mandatory and attendance counts towards your grade when the Wi Fi cuts out any second, any time. But you're still being forced to turn things in for the deadline. And the school will say that the Wi Fi is working. The Wi Fi works where it wants to work. Sometimes even the Wi Fi in the library goes out. And that's where teachers direct their students when they use the excuse the Wi-Fi is not working, go to the library. The library's Wi-Fi is not working. So what do we do when we have virtual classes and don't have Wi-Fi connection to attend them?
I can only say I am just so sorry that you all are experiencing these challenges. So what are some of the next steps that you all as student activists are taking? Obviously, the Live movement has been pretty, uh, and I guess sort of in the forefront of the student protests. But you're with Harriet's Wildest Dreams, which is DC based, and you all are. Well, I should say, in conjunction with all the work that several organizations are doing and putting in the work to address. You all are have a special and specific set of demands in conjunction with the demands that all of the students are asking for. Can you share sort of the general demands and then your relation to the work that you're doing with Harriet's Wildest Dreams and some of what you all are fighting for in the petition?
Mm-hmm. So the petition, it talks about how we want to break Howard's 40-year contract with Corvius, who manages the residential dorms. They allow these conditions to happen. And then we also want free healthcare for the students who have been infected and who need to go to the hospital or the doctor and who need to receive follow-up care for mold exposure. And then we also want to give tuition reimbursement, housing reimbursement, and damaged items reimbursement for students who stuff has been damaged and who have been forced out of their rooms because of the conditions. They deserve to get some financial compensation from all of that. And then we would also like some educational resources that are adequate and that actually have a plan with them. Like, I would like to have consistent Wi-Fi for my virtual classes, and I would like to have tutors, but there's not very many tutors across campus because Howard does not have a very good history of paying their faculty and staff. But I personally have been working with Harriet's Wildest Dreams. They've been here in DC at Blackburn, helping the students, get supplies, get support from the outside community, and work on this petition. So currently, this petition has over 4,000 signatures, and it's a way to uplift the Live Movement's housing plan demand. So it's just some additional support for the for Howard University to take when they are creating said plan.
And so I want to make sure I get all of those larger demands in there before I move on to my next question. And please correct me if I'm wrong and or fact check me, Autumn. But I believe that the demands of the Live movement is that there needs to be first of all, a town hall meeting with President Wayne A.I. Frederick and the administration, permanently reinstating of affiliate positions, so that's student, faculty, and alumni positions on the Board of Trustees. And I'm assuming, which did not make it clear, but also ensuring that they have voting rights on the board as well is my assumption. And there's also a request for the president and chair of the board to schedule a meeting with the students outlining the housing plan, which Autumn just talked about, and then legal, disciplinary, and academic immunity for student protesters. And obviously, the work that Harriet's Wildest Dreams and Autumn is busy up to is supporting those things by ensuring that there's health care for the students, ensuring that people are aware of what's going on and providing shelter and resources for those students who are protesting. And then you just shared with me offline that also includes ensuring that there are non-Howard health inspectors checking the housing and ensuring that these spaces are safe. How can we, as first of all, am I right? Are those the correct demands?
You're correct. Yes.
Good. So how can we, as non-Howard students, non-voting members of the Board of Trustees, be a part of this? Do we sign the petition? Do we go to Blackburn and see how else we can help? What can we do?
So the best way to help us is to support us. So just uplifting things that the students are saying, uplifting our demands, putting pressure on Howard. The media has really done a great job on putting some pressure on Howard. We've been getting, or Wayne Frederick, he has been getting phone calls from people who have heard from the media what's going on. Just putting this pressure and signing the petition will help force our administration to actually listen and give us what we deserve.
And how can we sign the petition? And I should have told you this before, Autumn, but if you want to throw it in the chat, if there's a link, I can link it on to our onto this current stream and also in the comments for those watching, because I think it's really important that we know how we're able to get involved. So yeah, I'm guessing Autumn is currently throwing that in the chat. While we're on, I'm just going to shout out all those who are tuning in. I appreciate you. Adra, I see you. I see you, Odetta, and I appreciate your comments. To all those tuning in, be sure to make sure that you share this stream, share this live. Although we won't be live very soon, I always say sharing is caring, and that this stream will exist until Facebook and YouTube don't. And so this is information that the people need to know, that the people and all of our villages and communities need to be a part of and aware of, and can hopefully join in that fight. And thank you. I have it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it here and in the comments for people to click on. But before we wrap, Autumn, is there anything else that you all like need, that we can be supportive of? I know that you are safely backing your dorm now, but aren't you still sort of sleeping outside still because you're not sure about what's happening with
Yes.
everything going on?
Hmm. I do. After this, I'm gonna go back outside. I just came in here for, some better stable Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But I do sleep there every day, 24/7. This is actually the first time I've been back in my room in a couple of weeks. But it has been some cold nights. So if you are able to, it would be really appreciated if y'all could donate blankets, sleeping bags, some pillows. That would be greatly appreciated for the students there.
And just rough estimate, how many students are out there?
It depends on the day actually, and what people's schedules look like because students do go to classes and stuff because life continues behind Blackburn. So I would say probably 60 to 100 students. 60 on like a slow day, and then 100 on a regular day.
My goodness. You guys inspire me so, so much. I hope that you know that. I mean, I told Autumn offline, because I'm such an activist, I probably wouldn't be able to resist the standing up for my rights and my fellow students' rights and sleeping outside and making my voice heard. But there will be another part of me, especially in these cold conditions and like this. We've had some torrential rain here in the DMV, that will want to just go home and do school from home until I could safely be there. And so you all are just so incredibly inspiring. I got to ask, what keeps you going?
Um, I would say just fighting for people who are here now, and I never want another freshman to come in and have this experience. I want to make sure that the generations who come before me never have to experience something like this. If I send my kids to Howard, they will never experience something like this. So that's what I'm here fighting for.
Absolutely. And some of the rhetoric that I've heard along the way from your fellow student activists is how much they still love Howard throughout this, despite the fact that they feel like there's a lack of respect from the administration, that there's still a special place in their heart for Howard. This is just your first semester at the university. Do you still care about Howard and think that you can stay another 3.5 years at the institution?
I cared very deeply for Howard. I feel like the culture that surrounds HBCUs, but specifically Howard, is something completely unmatched. And I knew what I was coming into, the culture, I mean. Um, but it's so completely different when you actually live it and you experience it. And I feel like administration is separate from the students and the faculty because the students and the faculty and the staff, they are amazing and they all need to be appreciated. It's just the administration needs to function less like a business and more like a school.
The administration needs to function less like a business and more like a school. Wow, Autumn, you are dropping some gems today. Odetta asks, where do we send donations?
We actually have a Cash App and a Venmo. It's just the Live Movement. That's it.
The Live Movement. I'm going to just banner that right now so that all of our viewers can see. So it would be the Live Movement on Cash App.
And literally anything is appreciated. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. I know that you're still in classes and still sleeping outside and still trying to like get acclimated with being a college student. I'm so very sure. So I just cannot thank you enough for your time today, Autumn. Thank you to all of the student activists who are out there fighting the good fight and making good trouble. We appreciate you all and your activism and your voices. I know our Afro viewers surely do. And I have to say, you all are heroes to me for certain. And so I thank you, Autumn, for your time. Please don't let this be the last time you come back. We can even look if you have the time. I can say with assurance we can make this a weekly check-in. Um, and though Wi-Fi can, I'm sure it is trying, even if you want to take this outside, we can make that happen. So
Mhm.
people, I hope that you all are not outside much longer and that your demands are met. But as long as you're out there, the Afro will continue supporting you in your efforts.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank you for letting me speak on your platform and bring attention to the issues.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to all those tuning in. I've said it before, sharing is caring. So go ahead and share this stream. Donate to the Live Movement and the at the Live Movement on Cash App, and or I know that I've seen requests for hot food, hot beverages. Autumn said still need for warm blankets and pillows and the like. So guys, we have to make sure that our students are uplifted and supported. And so do all that you can to join them in this fight. And with that, I want to say thank you again for tuning in and thank you to Autumn for being here today. Take care, everybody.
Bye.